So I've been accused of many things during my time in being Creatures of Sonaria's controversial content maker. So amongst all of these allegations and, accusations and rumors, one of them is the most outrageous claim I've ever gotten. And they've been calling me the grape emoji. Why are they calling me the grape emoji? Without context, oh my gosh, frown. Did he do something horrible to another human being by definition of that word? Actually, no, I haven't. They are calling me the grape emoji simply because they say that I don't apparently believe in consent. And again, in hindsight, oh my gosh, Frown, why don't you believe in consent? Well, let me explain to you what they meant by consent. So when they say consent, they mean the people who comes into my videos, DMs, or who comes into my comments saying, I don't consent you using my screenshots, or I don't consent you using what I said, and blah, blah, blah. That type of consent. It's nothing to do with physically or mentally. It just have to do with the fact that people whom I have made videos about exposing do not consent their screenshots or their conversations being exposed or used as evidence. So that's the context of the consent. So hearing this, I just want to make my justification on why, for that type of context, I do not care whether they give me their consent to use the evidence or not. Let me justify it. If I'm here to expose someone, I'm trying to expose someone who has influence, who have an inspiration, who have a pronounced title within Creatures of Sonaria's community. I'm not going after small people, I'm not going after like petty friend arguments or whatever. I'm going after people who has a sort of name within the community or attachments to the community. So when I make videos exposing them, I'm doing this to warn others, to show others, to prove others, to justify others, or to give evidence so my audience can make their own conclusion. So, in order for me to allow you guys to do conclusions of your own and not just blindly listen to me, I need to collect evidence. Solid, raw, uncut, uncensored, uncropped evidence so that I can say my piece confidently, knowing that I have things to back myself up, while also you can listen or you can make your own conclusions with the provided evidence on screen. So, isn't it good that I'm allowing you guys to make your own opinions and not just listen to me? Isn't it good I'm giving you all the evidence so you can then turn it back and say, hey, Frown, you're wrong at this or you're wrong at that? Isn't that fair, clear, and unbiased? But no, these people who are accusing me of being the grape emoji wants me to wait and get an approval or acceptance or consent from the people I'm trying to expose in using their messages and evidence. If I were to accept that, if I were to wait for their consent, for me to use their details, if they alter the evidence, what if they change it? What if they change their messages, alter their text, alter the narrative? What if they make the story different? And it's so different that the original stance and the original thing that has happened completely lost its reason. Now I can't say things confidently as well because the evidence I have is altered or changed. And I can't present it to you guys anymore because then you have you don't have the raw conversation, you have an altered conversation with altered narrative. Now you are forced to be biased. I don't want that. I don't want to wait for that. So I'm not waiting for their silly little approval when I'm trying to expose them or try and find justification and the rightful cause to show this off. Now, with that being said, yes, in general, I believe in consent. In that context of exposing people and wanting raw evidence, I am a self-proclaimed journalist in the Creature of Sonaria community when it comes to controversies, and I investigate these things myself. So, in this context of consent, of waiting other people to give me permission to use their evidence, I'm not gonna do that unless I'm in good pages with the person. And yeah, I believe, again, I cannot believe that I have to say this, but I believe in general consent. Just in the context of waiting for the person I'm targeting to change their message. I'm not gonna wait for their consent in that matter. So with that out of the way, so I've been having this allegation in subreddits and whatnot. Because of that, I wanted to first make a video about it, but then it would just draw too much attention to them. And plus, they're cowardly people who are faceless names just going around saying these things, not to my face, not to my DM. So, I thought I wouldn't share too much attention to them. But recently, in a server, in a new up and coming wannabe game called Celestial Studio, a bunch of people have been using that subreddit accusation against me. If it were just a few people, I wasn't planning on making a video about it, because moderators in that Celestial Studio game is being involved. I'm making this video to shed light on what type of people Celestial Studio members are. So, I have a history with Celestial Studio. Their owner, previous owner, Aria, was a friend of mine, and I helped them with drama. I helped them sort things out. I was there to, sniff out bad moderators and whatnot. And ironically enough, I suggested Aria back then to just get rid of the entire team because I found them a little, smelly. And turns out I was right, because the entire team then one day booted out Aria, the former owner, from the server and everything. So that's a drama of its own. And since it's like a private drama, I'm not gonna make a video about it. But basically, what happened was I was there at that time to make sure moderators were in line, but I did also leave at some point. So, they don't like me. The Celestial moderation don't like me. And because of that, they're using whatever they can to ruin my name, sabotage my reputation and whatnot, going and telling my friends not to be friends with me at that, and saying I'm creepy and whatnot. The classic stuff. And what's even funnier is the two people mentioned here, Novus and Jiho, are the very people I came into the server for to expose for being problematic and troublesome to the server's growth and development. I came there to expose them, which I successfully did, and then got them banned for a bit until the former owner, Aria, left and the new owner brought them back in. Even though I have exposed them, and I've shown lots of, and just to give you an idea of how untrustworthy these two members are. When I first tried to expose them to Aria, they were saying how they weren't making a video talking about Aria and that they weren't planning on sabotaging her or whatever. And then later on, when Aria got banned from her own server and the new owner brought them back in, they're pridefully and proudly saying how they were trying to call out Aria and stuff. So you can already see the conflicting contradiction between the two. So you can see how untrustworthy Celestial Studio members are. With that out of the way, no, I'm not anyone who is willing to do something horrible. Okay, I just simply do not care about the opposition changing the story. So yeah, that's about it. So have a lovely day.